Hi, I'm so excited to be with you today. My name is Heather Menwering. A huge thank you to Sarah for putting this on, and I'm excited to help you with crushing some goals this coming year. I am primarily a womanhood coach. I work mostly with women, but I also do work with some men. Today, we get to talk about parenting. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel like we have lost our identity to this new role. So many parents are torn between the struggle as well as the incredible fulfillment of it and trying to balance those two together. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can really reach your personal goals and feel that fulfillment even in your role of parenting. You do not have to be split between the two. So a little bit about me. I am what you would say is type A. I've always been very achievement oriented. I grew up in a small town, was a valedictorian there. I was very motivated to work hard, to check off those milestones, get the grades. Came out west to go to college in Utah, presidential scholar for BYU. I ended up transferring to USU to complete my food science degree. I loved both schools. And I then was able to get my first real career job in Salt Lake at a flavor company. So it was really a fun adventure. I loved learning. I think I learned to balance a little bit more in college and balance between the studies and homework as well as other aspects of life, which was good for me. But I was still very much motivated by kind of that normal checklist mentality of, being able to set a goal and accomplish it immediately. And after working at the flavor company for about a year, my first child was born, which was so exciting. And it was also a huge shift. So you parents watching, you've gone through that as well, where all of a sudden, your normal methods of accomplishing goals aren't as effective anymore, and it was really hard for me at first. I felt like I was moving with cement blocks tied to my feet, because normally I could just boom, 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 like get everything done that I needed to, and now it took all day to get just a couple things done. I couldn't just get ready in 5 minutes to leave the house and go shopping really quick. Everything took so much longer. I had to pause for all of the baby care needs, especially in that newborn phase. And that was really hard for me at first. I would say that was part of the intensity of postpartum, was just that hard adjustment that I didn't feel like I could move freely. And as I emerged from that fourth trimester period of time, I started to adjust and I started to learn some things. And here we are 3 years later, 2 kids at the moment, and not only have I been able to just feel so much joy in that role of parenting, but I've also been able to balance that with accomplishing some major goals of my own. So I am excited to help you today to just have some shifts that are going to help you embrace this period of life and really work with it to keep moving forward and to feel that fulfillment as an individual as well as in your role as a parent. They both can work together. Sometimes we feel like torn between the two, between our identity as an individual and our role as a parent. And so what I'm going to do today is help you start to join those together in a way that feels really good and gets you excited to move forward with your goals. To give you a quick idea of some of the things that I've accomplished that were important to me in the last 3 years, I stopped working at my full-time job so I could be the one home with my baby. And in the following 3 years, I not only had another baby and, focused a lot on, of course, their full-time nurture and care, but in addition, I was able to start running our downstairs as an Airbnb. I also worked with my husband to landscape our entire front and backyard. We moved into a 60s home. The bones were solid, but it was kind of old and creepy, so we were able to just repaint and fix up a couple things. And I did work on that, especially with painting. And this year, finally complete painting our bedroom, which was the last one on the list, including a mural. So that was exciting to make so much progress with the home and with the yard. I've been able to learn a lot of new skills. I've done elimination communication and cloth diapering with my girls. I took an aerial silks class for just my own personal joy of living, and was able to perform a little solo during their biannual showcase. And along the way, I have been able to do a lot of work on both my relationships and my own personal healing and growth and personal development. So it's been really rewarding, it's been rich, and I've loved how things have been able to kind of fit together and flow together. And I know that you can too. I know that you have these big ideas and this big potential, and I'm here to help that feel natural and fun and exciting to you instead of the overwhelm that sometimes we get stuck with. These 5 steps will help you embrace the crazy schedule of parenthood, find space and clarity in it, and feel joy and fulfillment as you accomplish your personal goals along the way. So let's get started. Before I get on with the 5 steps to accomplishing your goals, I want to clarify a few really important things. So first of all, you won't do it all, at least not right now. And the reason I say that is because there is actually no limit to all of the things that you could do. Start paying attention. I've noticed on days where I've completed a major project that I was working on, I just kept filling in with more tasks. It's not like I said, oh, that's done, I'm going to sit and read a book. No, I kept finding thing after thing after thing to work on, and I realized, wow, like there's just no end to the things that I could busy myself with. So the goal here is not to do it all, because there's always more that could be done. Instead, the goal is to prioritize, to figure out what are the most important things to you. Something that I've shared in other parts of my audience is the power of the decision that we have right now. We get to choose what is most important to us, and we get to show what is the most important to us by how we use our time. So as we pick priorities, this is a really big topic in and of itself. I could do a whole workshop just on picking priorities. Because it can be hard. We have so many things that all feel important, and it becomes noisy in our head. And so picking the things that are most important can be difficult. But take some time to ponder that. Think to yourself, if I died tomorrow, what would I have wanted to have done? A little drastic, but it shows us what's most important, and everything else should kind of come into place around that. Ask yourself, when do I feel most joyful? When do I feel the most just alive and vibrant? What are my goals? Who do I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? What are the values that I want to instill in my children? These are all important questions that can help you start to identify what your true priorities are. So we're gonna pick some priorities and focus on those. Second, beware of the shoulds. When I say shoulds, I mean any of the phrases going through your mind that sound like this. I should do this because XYZ. I should keep this thing because so-and-so gave it to me, right? Like, I don't like this, but I should keep it. So the shoulds are the things weighing us down. Those are the thoughts that clutter up our mind, and they just add so many extra things that we need to do that are there because we think someone else wants us to do it, basically, whether it feels like a societal requirement or a family requirement. It doesn't feel authentic to us. So an important step is going to be differentiating between the things that truly feel aligned with your values that you want to do versus the things that feel like a should. And that's something that we break down together in one-on-one sessions as well. Being able to pick apart and really identify like what feels good and aligned versus what is just weighing you down. Third thing that I want to clarify, we need to redefine accomplishment. Just like how I mentioned at the beginning with my experience, we've grown up with this value system where everything that is worth anything can be measured, whether it's our grades at school measuring our knowledge, or our income at work measuring our worth as an employee, or even the points that we earn when we're playing a sport. Everything is measured, and the other things in our life tend to fall to a lesser importance because we can't measure it. So now during this time as a parent, in order to truly feel fulfilled and to thrive as you work towards your goals, it will take an adjustment of that value system to value the things that are most important and place those first. Your time with your kids or your time on personal development cannot be measured with numbers, but yet that is what's going to be some of the most rewarding use of your time and energy. So adjusting our values and redefining accomplishment is really going to help us on this path as a parent. All right, so the 5 steps for ambitious parents to achieve your goals. You don't have to give up on your goals. You can do both together with balance. So step number 1 is to pick 2 to 3 specific goals. We don't want too many. And the reason is because we are going to be working on these goals in small increments. And so we want to be able to really hone in and focus our efforts and be able to see the accumulated progress over time. And once we feel good about those goals, then we can pick something else. So that's step number 1, is pick just 2 to 3 specific goals. And each day is a new day to take baby steps towards your goals. When I was working on the mural in my bedroom wall, I worked on it in 15-minute intervals a lot of the times because it was very detailed. It took a lot of time, and that's what I had, was just little small moments. And I would say, oh, perfect, the girls are occupied, or oh, perfect, my husband's home. And I would just go work just a little bit and still be able to get dinner made or whatever else that I personally needed to do. And as you're picking your specific goals, remember that life has seasons and chapters. There will be many opportunities for you to develop your talents in different ways throughout your life. Choose something that fits now with your current personal and family needs and situation. Step number 2. So first step was to pick 2 to 3 specific goals. Step number 2 is to have themed days for these goals and any other important topics that you need to fit into your life. So for example, when my first daughter was a baby, I had Thursdays be my creative arts day, where during her nap, I would just do something just for me, just for fun. It wasn't a specific big project. I wanted to be able to just unwind that day. Thursday was also my day to read in Spanish because I wanted to keep up on that skill. Currently, I've changed my days, my themed days, and right now it's more focused on preschooling activities with my daughter because it's important to me to fit a little bit in each day of expanding her learning. So on Mondays we do reading, Tuesdays is writing, Wednesdays are math, and so on. And this, having a theme already picked ahead of time for your day, takes out a lot of the thinking and planning. I'm always going to support having a great planning session at the beginning of your week, but in all reality, it doesn't always happen. In fact, it might often not happen to have a planning session at the beginning of the week. But if you get to Tuesday and you know that that's your day to work on your special project, then as soon as you get 15 open minutes, you're going to be right on that project and you're going to be making progress. Instead of just scrolling on social media on your phone for 15 minutes, wishing that you had more time, right? So this is going to help you to just focus right in on your important goals and take some of that thinking out of it for you. Number 3, schedule by routine rather than the clock. Don't use strict time blocks. The reason that I include this step is because for a lot of scheduling advice, the recommendation is to use time blocks. And as a parent, sometimes this leads to more frustration than productivity. You may have already heard this technique where you set yourself an appointment on the clock. You say at 9 o'clock, I will take 1 hour and I will just work on this task as long as I can, get what done I can, and then at 10 o'clock, I'm done, or whatever time block that you set yourself. As a parent, when I tried to do this, I noticed it just brought more frustration than anything. 9 o'clock, all of a sudden my baby's diaper needs to be changed, or I need to sit down to nurse her, or I need to go grab a snack for someone. So my focus was getting broken up and I couldn't keep those time appointments, and it just brought frustration. So if you have found that in your own life, make the adjustment to schedule by routine. Just keep it general, keep it open. Know that when your kid is taking a nap, you want to work on a certain task, or that during breakfast you can fit something in. Have just a general routine, and maybe one day that gives you half an hour to work. Maybe on a different day that gives you an hour and a half to work. The time is going to change, but you're going to have a place in your day for the tasks that you need to get done. So number 1, 2 to 3 specific goals. Number 2, themed days. Number 3, schedule by routine. And number 4, follow the flow of the day. This is an extension of step number 3. Once you have a general idea of your routine, such as when you usually eat, when you usually sleep, when you usually have playtime, whatever it is, then you can be willing to kind of follow what feels right in the moment. So maybe your kid is tired, extra tired one day and sleeps early. You can allow yourself to be flexible and do that nap early, and now you're doing your other project early during that time as well. Or perhaps you planned on going shopping in the afternoon, but it really just seems like your kids need to get out of the house, and so you do that in the morning, and that frees up time in your afternoon for something else. So you want to be just ready to follow the flow of the day. If you have set yourself a list of what you want to accomplish, and you're trying to just push through, and you say, usually this would work, I just need to make it happen, but your kids are fussy and it just doesn't feel good, like that's a sign that there's a lot of resistance, and that it's just not the way that day is needing to go. So if you feel yourself trying to push through, that's a sign to take a step back, breathe, and then discern what feels right instead. For me, being prayerful helps a lot. It helps me to recognize what is needed each day. You can pray, you can just be mindful, and just follow the flow. So step 1, 2 to 3 specific goals. Step 2, themed days. Step 3, schedule by routine, not by the clock. Step 4, follow the flow of the day. And step 5, involve your kids. This is maybe one of the most straightforward and yet underutilized tools for accomplishing our goals. So often we see our own personal goals as separate from our time with our kids, our role as parenting. We have a lot of activities that are kind of targeted or marketed specifically towards babies, toddlers, children, and we may feel even like we're supposed to have toys that are targeted for them, or music, or TV shows. Like there's a lot of things that we feel that we should have for them, and this kind of creates this separation where they've got such different activities going on. Now there's conflict with the things that you're needing to get done. For myself, after I had my second daughter, I read a book called The Continuum Concept. It's a pretty short read, it's an older book, but for me, it totally shifted my perspective. So The Continuum Concept was written by someone who lived for 2 years with the indigenous people of South America, and she learned a lot of things about a particular group that she mostly was living with that were a very peaceful people. And one thing she noticed was that their parents were actually much more available than the parents of her society at the time. Obviously, she lived at a different time for us, but I would say that the same goes for our time as well. So their parents were more available to their kids, and that their kids could always go and sit on someone's lap, or they could always go, be held, or be nurtured whenever needed. But yet, the parents were also much less focused on their kids than we are. So the parents were not doing special activities for kids. They didn't have, the kids probably had, a few simple toys, but most of the adults were just doing the needed daily tasks of, preparing food, preparing clothing, and the kids could play with, simple simple things, and the kids could also observe the adults, and they could come join in as they desired. And as they grew up, it was very natural for them to just join in with the adults. They saw what it was like to be a grown-up in that society, and they were able to naturally learn it over time because they were observing it all the time. So for me, this was just a total game changer and very enlightening to apply this perspective to my own children and to realize I didn't have to have, now granted my kids do still have plenty of toys around. I did not just get rid of them all, but a lot of them spend most of the time in the closet because I realized my kids don't need a lot of toys out. What they really need is just to be around and just see what I'm doing. I've tried to do more activities in a way that involves them, and it's been so rewarding to have them join in more and more and to be learning with me. And I find they're more willing to do that as I have less of all the kids stuff around. One thing that many parents face who previously worked or were highly achievement oriented like myself, they find that parenting feels monotonous. At the end of the day, they just need a break just simply because it's so repetitive and so mundane. And so to these parents, I say there is hope, because it does not have to feel this way. You do not have to adjust all of your activities to be children's activities. You can actually just adjust your adult activities in a way that allows your kids to participate. And again, if you would like more insights into what this works, reach out, tune into the Instagram page risingwoman_motherhood, or email me for some other resources. You can do adult tasks and bring your kids with you. It takes a lot longer to do them for sure, but it is so rewarding to see your little ones catch on. So those are the 5 steps that are going to help you make major progress on your personal goals as well as family goals. By making these simple adjustments, you will be able to make huge progress. Remembering also that the timeline does not matter, especially during particular phases of our lives. We're going to move more slowly, but as long as we are making progress, we will get there. So look for progress rather than the timeline. Now, I do have a few other things I want to mention. Some of them you may have already heard, and some of them you may not. I think that they bear repeating. So really quickly, first of all, we want to let go of perfectionism. Done imperfectly is better than not done at all, right? Just aim for getting it done, even if it doesn't look totally perfect. Again, if you feel yourself kind of locked up at that and unable to move forward, that's just part of where you're at. And again, just go ahead and book a session and we'll do some work on that to loosen up some of the blocks that are holding you back. Number 2, turn off your phone notifications. Our phones slow us down so much. Every time that you hear a buzz or a ring from one of the apps on your phone, it breaks up your concentration. You pause to go look, and all of a sudden you're losing out on all these minutes throughout the day that could add up to something significant. So turn off any unnecessary notifications. 3, pick your first step. If you feel frozen, like you can't start, then think, what is the very, very first thing that needs to happen to move forward? Something so simple that it could be done in 5 minutes, and that's your first step. Number 4, go to bed early. Another of the biggest challenges that I see parents face is just feeling tired all the time. This is a big topic, both sleep and energy as a parent. It can be complex considering all of the different techniques and advice on sleep training, co-sleeping. There's a lot of different situations and challenges that we navigate. Our productivity and our wellness are both majorly compromised when we're not getting enough sleep. I have a freebie for you just for watching this. Go to my website. The link is on the PDF, so make sure you get that. And fill out the contact form with the subject Sleepy Parent. and learn some ways that you can stop being so tired all the time. Number 5 for getting more done is serve others. This might feel counterintuitive to be taking more time away from what you need to get done, but it's one of those ironies of life, and I've seen it in my own life, that when I do take at least some time each day for someone beyond myself or beyond my household, I find that I have more ability to get done what I truly need to. And I think there's a lot more joy and fulfillment along the way as well. Number 6, to help you towards your goals is set bolder goals. The biggest person holding us back is usually ourselves, because we tell ourselves that there's no way we can get this done during this season of our life. So set bolder goals, and then again, take those baby steps towards that goal. And number 7, this one is so important, is heal. Take the time for your personal healing. I can't emphasize this one enough. As I've done the work on myself, then I can progress so much more quickly in other areas of life, or I can get more done and it feels better. A lot of the things holding us back have these deep roots and these emotions that we've been holding on to for a long time, and they're not all conscious. A lot of people are finding that they struggle to make the changes in mindset because they feel held back by something and not exactly sure how to address that. You know, a lot of coaching methods focus primarily on conscious thoughts, and that is absolutely one way that can bring about powerful change. And so we do definitely do a lot of work with mindset and the thoughts that are going through our mind. But oftentimes people are finding that they are, still feeling blocked in making those changes, that they try on the new thought and there's just this rejection. They just really struggle to accept this new way of thinking. And so what we do is we go in and we clear those underlying emotions. So I take a holistic approach to everything. We look at you as a whole person. So we focus on the physical side because our physical condition really affects the rest of us. If we're not feeling good, if we have chronic aches and pains, if we're always exhausted, it's really hard to feel joyful and optimistic or make huge progress on our other goals. We also take a look at the emotional, and then we look at the spiritual aspect as well. So often we're missing the power that can come from tapping into the spiritual side of our needs. And so by balancing the different aspects of our progress together, we make huge leaps and bounds, and not only can we accomplish the goals that we're working towards, but we just feel so much better along the way, and our vision expands. That's one of the big things that I want for you. I want you to come away from this video with a little bit of an expanded vision of what's possible. Maybe some of the goals you've been working towards, you actually can adjust them, because now you have a broader view of your purpose and your potential and where your family can play into that. And then be sure to check out my baby page, social media. I'm not on there all the time, but risingwoman_motherhood is the baby Instagram page, where you can just get little updates now and then that help you to feel good about motherhood, about where your energy is going. I'm not so much into the gimmicks. I'm not really that cutesy song and dance person. This Instagram page is going to be more about, how do I navigate my priorities? How do I navigate teaching my kids good values? How do I instill in them a desire to, work hard, or how do I help them to become a capable adult? We are all here for a purpose, and we're not meant to do it alone. We're meant to help each other. So don't be afraid to take those steps. Reach out, go to my website, fill out the contact form with your questions. I'm happy to answer. I help people let go of whatever's holding them back. The people who love these sessions are the ones who are ready to just let it go. They're ready to figure out what's going on and just really use that as leverage to improve and to move forward. And I love seeing that happen. I love seeing the power of, just really listening to and sitting with what's going on and then taking it to the next level. I promise that it's worth it, and I promise it can work for you. Even if it's anxiety holding you back, even if it's easily feeling guilty or overwhelmed, like any of the things that are holding you back from doing the things you really want to do. So I'm here to tell you that you are worth the effort. You are worth the investment in learning about your own wholeness and working towards your own wholeness. It is easier to accomplish your goals when you are not holding yourself back, or rather when the things within you are not holding you back. It's just exciting to see the transformation that takes place. Email me to book a session so you can feel supported, encouraged, and excited in your journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to grab your freebie that comes with this New Year's kickoff, and then be sure to go to the website, fill out the contact form, Sleepy Parent, for your freebie on how to stop feeling so tired all the time. All right, I look forward to talking to you soon, and bye-bye for now.